Well, I'm on the farm today and thought I'd bring you along for the ride and share a little bit of what I got on my mind, future plans for this farm uh, over the next couple of years, kind of short-term plans, particularly uh, with respect to this field and this barnyard. And what I got to do is I got to get the Model 50, my number 2 Model 50 with the bush hog. I'm going to be running it a little bit, but I'm going to get the 149 out. And what I want to do is I want to expand the grass mode, if you will, part of this barnyard. And so I'm going to try to come out to about right here. Let's see, probably come out to about right here, and I want to start keeping all of this like a lawn, and I'm gonna work on that some today. You seen from some of my past videos, I pointed repeatedly at a white-faced hornet's nest. Well, I got up here earlier today, and 22 degrees. They have been a hardy bunch. They have survived many cold temperature days, but today they did not survive getting punched with a PVC tubing. That piece right there was plugged onto that thing, but I gave it a couple of punches, and they came down, and they have left the property. The bees, knock on wood, are gone. So just like some terrorist group in another country, sometimes they'll occupy parts of the country, and then other times the government they're able to take it back. Well, that's the way it is on this farm. You know, bees and yellow jackets and wasps, there's some places in the summer that they just move in and take over like a terrorist organization, and then when we get enough freezes and frosts, we can move back in and take over that territory. And so I'm glad to see that wasp hornet's nest gone. So let me do a few things and I'll come back. I'm always cleaning out a mouse nest on this tractor, and they're usually right in here. And there's some of the debris I just knocked out. Where are the snakes when you need them? Model 50's out of the way, and I'm gonna let it run a little bit to get a charge on the battery. Next thing, I got to get the mighty 149 Cub Cadet. The wind has blown the chairs over. I think I mentioned I got a hay customer coming today and another one tomorrow. This grass right in here, I'll mow another day. Where the nest was. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go straight out and down and around, and I won't bore you to death with it, maybe just a minute or two. Let the deck down, ease the PTO on, give it some gas, and go. Hopefully I don't tear anything up. Everything's nice and dry, but there are sticks out here that I'm watching out for. And this is actually a really nice deck on this tractor. I'd hate to bust the crap out of it mowing a bunch of brush. But let me come back. Alright, so I said I wouldn't bore you to death mowing with the Cub Cadet 149, but so what I've done is just kind of cleaned off, you know, from my barn. Let me walk on over here just a touch. So the goal is when people come in here, I want them to have plenty of room out here to turn around. And I'll show you some more when I get on my Model 50 Massey in terms of traffic in and out of this barn and across some of these fields and what I have in mind. Now, one thing, this part of the field and up in there a certain way, there's a fair amount of debris. That the deck on that Cub Cadet is not full of vacuum, and so I mean, I would stop and pick up sticks, but for the most part I just ran over everything and it just stayed on the ground. And like that piece right there. But I did pick up some, and then I'll pick up more out of this. But before I put my hay equipment on any of this new ground, it'll get a lawnmower ran across it. And I've got older decks. I don't need to use that deck. That one's pretty good, but I'm here today and I wanted to clear this off. And but I feel like if I can run a riding lawnmower across it, basically I can put my hay equipment on it. And you know, I'm looking for things like stumps and, you know, really big stuff that would wreck a piece of hay equipment. So it would almost be profitable to come in here. I really don't want to put a disc on, but there might be some, it might be good to come over, run over some of this with a disc. This field in some ways really makes the case for Roundup Ready alfalfa, but I'm not sure I'm ready for that yet. But let me get to the Massey Ferguson, and I'll show you a little more here in just a bit. Like I say, I got a hay customer coming. I'm not sure what the timetable for them to show up is, but I'll come back. All right, so my customer came. I'm kind of back at it here. I got the Hardy 5-foot bush hog, and I'm gonna cut a path right up to a gate straight up there. That's normally where my customers would come in, but I've been having them come in at the main farm gate back over there. Let me get up to that gate and I'll come back. All right, so right there's the gate. People typically come through for to get to my barn, and they come down that path where I just mowed. And what I would like to do is to eliminate that and have them go around the perimeter of the field. So I'll kind of take you around the field. The goal is to have them go all the way down to the tree line, swing all the way down to the corner where that little white building is, and then come up in behind the barn where that little barnyard I mowed off is, and then come into the barn that way. And then I don't have them driving across my field and making ruts and things like that. So I'll kind of take you along a little bit as we go, and then I'll talk about some other stuff. If you're new to the channel, I had a fella in here last spring with a forestry mulcher. This was complete autumn olives, and he cut it down to the ground. You can see some of the debris down there, and I've just let it grow up in weeds, but we're getting ready to kind of already started mowing it off. I'm not in any big hurry, but the goal again is to have them come down along this perimeter. Probably have to trim back some of these trees, but this is going to be one really nice hay field when I get done with it. kind of easing down into the corner, and the creek that you see on some of my videos is right beyond there, all the way down. And if you want to see some of those videos of the forestry mulcher, I highly encourage you to come in and look at them. The guy that did it, he's got a YouTube channel, Southwest Virginia Forestry Mulcher, I believe it's the name of his channel, I forget. But anyway, you'll see. I make reference in the video to his business and channel. But you can see there's some deer. You can see there's grass in here. I don't know that this is what I want to settle for, but it'd be nice to have people come and track down to the inside of this power line. Just have to see how that plays out. There's a big drop off to the creek right over there. We ran out of time. I was going to have him get these autumn olives down through here, but we kind of ran out of time with it. I think I had him in here about 3 days. I draw a blank now. And there's my barn, you can see. So the goal again is to have them, not drive through the fields and drive over decent hay, but just kind of make their way around the perimeter of it. I'll just kind of keep the video rolling here while we chase these deer out of the field. You can see the autumn olives are already trying to come back. So it's amazing how quickly they can take over. I get my big sprayer going, most definitely do a number on these, on the weeds and autumn olives in this field. And again, that's where I get back to Roundup Ready alfalfa. It would be really nice to have that stuff in here for a few years. Get a nice clean crop of alfalfa in square bales or even some rounds. And when it's petered out, then come in with, have a nice clean field to come back in with Timothy, orchard grass, something like that. Now we're down in the far corner at this white building I was telling you about. So you can see the gate way up there. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. When you're sitting in the middle of the field, it doesn't look all that big. But when you get out on one end of it or the other, it's actually pretty extreme. And that's my east field. That's the main farm over there. Eventually I'll take out this little row of trees in here. And what I want to do is I want to make kind of a lay down yard, for lack of a better word, down in this quadrant, back up against this fence row, where I can put, there's an old tedder sitting over there, put stuff like that in here out of the way, just kind of off to the side where you drive by. And so, the customer makes their way in here to the back side of the barn. And then all of this down in here will look like that. I'll keep that mowed like a lawn. Now that's the plan that's the plan for the customers coming in. But let me make my way up to the corner of this field, and I'll show you some other things I got going on. The mighty 149 Cub Cadet. All right, so I'm up here in the kind of the northwest corner of this field, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring a path down along this east field, and I'm going to come through right here where this old fence line is. And the goal here is not just to have a perimeter around, not just have a perimeter that hugs the tree line going down and around to my barn, but I want to have a path that comes down up against this old tree line. And I'll show you what I'm up to when I get down here where I typically come in. I'll come back. So when I come across from the main farm to my hay barn over here, I typically come right down the middle of this east field. And so what's happening is there was never a road out here. This property didn't belong to us. I bought it, I don't know, it's been a good while now, but I thought the easiest thing to do was just cut straight across, because I felt like, you know, I'd be losing hay on my perimeter of my fields if I made a road around it. Well, that's all true, but the problem is, as this field, as this road kind of gets used more and more, it starts going like that. So when I come flying across with my mower conditioner, it causes issues. You know, it's like there's a washboard there. So I need to eliminate that so that we're not driving across this field causing damage as I traverse the field going back and forth this way. Let me come back. All right, so I made it around to the northwest part of this east field, if you will, and we were just down where I said I was going to go through, and the idea would be you'd travel along the edge of this field, go through that fence line, come down parallel to the fence, and then come into the barnyard. So now we'll go to the other end of the field, and I'll show you what I got in mind there. All right, so I'm down here in the southwest corner of my east field. The creek is right over there. We'll drive by it in just a minute, but the next route to that field is going to be down through here. So let's just kind of make our way down. Dead ash trees all over the place around here. And we had a really good second cutting off this field. It really made our numbers for 2023. And you might be able to see the creek down in there. A little better view as we get on down. So the idea is, again, to spare this field traffic across the center. So we got as smooth of a field as we can get, and kind of make our way around. And I'm not sure how far down that way I'll push it. Obviously, if I got a kicker wagon on, I want to stay off the slopes as high as those things get stacked. And then it would be inevitable that somebody that had hay stacked on their trailer would get down where it's a little more slopey that way, and their load would come off. And we prefer, if they lose the load on their trailers, that it's off the farm and they can restack it. More autumn olives. These things are unbelievable. And then there's a little better view of the creek down here. The water's pretty still in that area. It's also really low. We're just in a drought. I don't know any other way to look at it. I talked to a friend of mine. He said that you know, when you get up around Waynesboro and Stanton, Virginia, there's not much hay at all. And I had a guy that actually came down from up in that area, and he said his normal supplier that ships hay, like to Florida, he bought some hay from me. He said he had no second cutting. So I expect demand to really tighten. But funny thing about it is there's always somebody's got $4 hay. So the idea is we'd come out and then we'd cut through here, but that's not as easy said as done, because there's kind of a ravine down in there where water flows. But when I get on up to about right here, I can go through. So that's not too bad. And then again, would parallel the fence line and come up into the barnyard. I guess I could just go up this edge on this side of the fence and then come in from the side. Either way, I suppose would be fine. But let me come back. All right, so that kind of completes the tour. I get off this thing without breaking my head. Sorry for the camera angles. We just have a simple camera here, no fancy setup on our videoing. So that's kind of the video. I'm kind of encouraged with what I'm seeing here, that I mowed, that I mowed over with the Cub Cadet, and thought I'd share the traffic, for lack of a better word, the traffic plans for this field. But I mean, if we can get some of these sticks up and run a mower across this, I know it's a lot of area to run a lawnmower across, but there's people on the good side of town that have like 5-acre lawns that they mow a couple times a week. So if we just work as hard as they do, we can mow all of this and have it looking like this in the spring, and then decide what I want to do with it. So hope you enjoyed the video. Hit the like button, subscribe, and share these videos. That helps. And we'll talk to you later.